What's up, everyone? How's it going? Welcome to today's trade recap or market analysis session. Today is Thursday, July the 17th, and today we took a total sum of 0 trades. And honestly, I could not find any probable and good setup that I actually liked and that I actually saw confirmation for. It was although the price action doesn't seem bad simply looking here, price action had its overall sense of choppiness. We had this sense of choppiness after that 8:30, 8:45 range. Then we came down at 9 a.m. Then we had another sense of choppiness from around 9:15, 9:30ish to all the way until the end of our session. We did start to see a pump up at the end of the session, but we could not capture any of it, and we'll dive into why during today's analysis. What I want to go ahead and do and get to that market open point. Alright, there we go. But let's go ahead and talk about what news there was today. And today, there was honestly not any news. We did have unemployment claims, but that basically came as forecasted. Nothing within the news was impactful for us to utilize that in our analysis. But yeah, same thing on Forex Factory. But looking now, Japanese CPI, that's for overnight session, but doesn't matter. What I want to do is go over the overall context and then work through the session to see if we may have missed out on any trades. And honestly, I don't think we did, so this might be a pretty quick episode. But 8:30 right there. Coming into 8:30, where we were at, we were between this imbalance above level. So we said that if we broke above that level, we are expecting price to head all the way to this all-time high region. And looking in hindsight, that's essentially what happened, right? We broke above that level, we made a retracement, and then blasted straight to the all-time highs. Our other thing was that if we did make a way down, we have a 1 hour here, these levels, we essentially wanted to find direction and use these levels to help us find direction and find entry models. So that's essentially it. We were we were in a bullish bias simply because of how market was trending, and we were wanting to see how we react at the imbalance above level and play off directionally based on that. And essentially the same is going to go here on NQ. Right here, this was that imbalance above level, but this area was truly our imbalance above level. Once you broke this area, we were cleared to head toward the all-time highs, but we were estimating and wanting to see a reaction from this level. And once again, we did see initial reaction. Same thing you can notice on ES. We did see an initial sweep and reaction off of it coming into market open. And then at market open, bullish pressure came back in and pushed above it, which puts us in that continued bullish bias for the day. But yeah, let's stop talking about the overall context and get into analyzing the market using Bookmap and Footprint. So let's go straight into that time period, right at 9:30 EST, and see what happens. Right here, there's nothing much to be said, nothing much to be traded at all. Zoom in on the footprint, right here. So at market open, we saw absorption combined with large buying pressure towards the upside. Now here, distribution of liquidity on Bookmap is very choppy, nothing really we can play with. If we ignore these bottom levels simply because they are pretty correlated, there's nothing too significant. When we take advantage of these levels, potentially we can use that to our advantage, but again, I'm not seeing anything too crazy there. We're not seeing any buyer absorption yet. As you see, we start pumping up, and then we have significance on the lower side as well with stacked 90 buyers, passive buyers, and much more. And now we have this 6320 area that has a lot of passive sellers. We're wanting to see a reaction off of such. And we come to that level, and we do happen to see a little bit of absorption there in a reaction. Hold on, let me get rid of that real quick. There we go. And let's keep moving. So at this point, I'm still not seeing much. We just broke towards the upside right here at around here, 853. Just waiting to see reaction. No trades could have been made from that point. Okay, so I just came back. I ate my dinner, but once again, not seeing much here. Let's keep going. I'm gonna have to do a quick summary on all this. I don't think I can take the full time to go over in specificity. But here again, the distribution of liquidity is very choppy. We're between two distribution levels of area. Now 9 o'clock came. Liquidity started to clear up. Now we're between two levels, 6325 and 6315. Want to see where we react and how we react. And let's keep moving forward. We seem to have reacted from the top of that range there, around 9:10ish, where we start seeing the first batch of aggressive selling come in. And come back up there, start seeing buying unable to push through again. Aggressive selling starts coming again. And right here, this 6325 became very significant as now it has 384 contracts, which is institutional characteristics. And price is simply just dumping. This is when we started to see that aggressive sell action come in. Honestly, there was nothing. We didn't react to that level, and now we're at this level, and we can't really play anything off of this level simply because we've broken it. And if we keep moving forward as well, what we see is that those sellers keep pushing in aggressively, right? Here, sure, it might have been considered liquidity flipping as there's 100 contracts right around 6317 area right here. But take a look, does it actually work out? Hell no. And that's not even at that point, that is literally within this candle itself. And there's no clear signs of buyer absorption that would have actually made it valid. So now we're in this big range between 6325 and 6305, a 20-point range, which is extremely massive, almost 80 tick range. And now this was where I wanted to take a trade, but unfortunately nothing came to fruition. We saw this aggressive passive selling participant come in around that 6317 area. We also have this area right here around 6314. So I want to see if price can head up towards those areas, see absorption, see buyer absorption, with a reaction followed by decently aggressive sellers. If you see that happen, we can take shorts targeting the 6305 levels. But unfortunately, as you'll so happen to see, that upper level essentially gets removed from the market, potentially so-called spoofing. And we don't really see absorption here at this level as well because we do head up more and more. We're not seeing any reaction from these barriers, and these barriers are not even that significant either. Right now, the average tends to be around 85 within our deviated range, right? So 85 times 1.5 would be approximately um it would be approximately 130 plus, right? And these levels, they're there, but they're not significant. We need significance when we're playing, or else it's typical market maker or typical retail liquidity, while we want to play it with institutional liquidity. And right here, it's very clear distribution. There's nothing much we can play off of. Now, we see a big barrier, big passive seller pop up again. We want to see absorption at that area. And what do we happen to see? We don't even touch that area. Aggressive selling comes in and pushes price towards the downside. Now, we keep going. Now it's a very clear liquidity. There's not much we can really work with. Since we didn't even tap it there and we saw aggressive selling that was unable to push below these lows. Since we're coming up at that level, we're not seeing absorption as well. Really nothing we could have played with even until this point. And yeah, I'm looking speedrunning through this market analysis, but I'm just getting to a point. All right, 950, right? Right here in this candle. We see buyers push up very aggressively, which actually took out this barrier already. And we did push above that relative area. Now we do start to see pops of selling come in, but why? Think about it logically. Why would I take shorts here if the thing that was defending the longs from coming in had now gotten swept? Now there's nothing really defending those longs from coming in, right? We want to see absorption there and that level to hold to a decent extent, or to see a reaction off of absorption. Here, maybe we saw absorption, that's questionable, but there's not any passive participants there, and our target is pretty deviated overall from where current price is. It's going to be quite difficult to essentially target all the way down there and actually make a profitable trade unless you take a risk reward like such. It simply wouldn't make sense in a risk management perspective, and seeing as how we are continuing to push up with aggressiveness as well, it's not showing me anything significant. We're so close to that 6325 area that we might as well just head there. And we are stalling at this level, but there's no distribution of liquidity on Bookmap for us to actually gain an aspect of direction, which we would require in order to tell if we're going to head towards that 6325 area or that 6305 area. But what we do see now is that the 6325 area heavily reduced in size in terms of passive buyers, and that was a point where aggressive buying started to come in, and that we actually broke through towards the upside. Now this was a turning point, no absorption, simple breakthrough, and now we're all the way up towards the 6325 levels around here. And within this candle as well, we simply push up, break through that barrier, and now there's nothing there. Now, we still have more hope. If we can retrace into this level around 6321-ish, 6321-ish, where we are seeing passive buyers come in, potentially we can take a long targeting 6330, right? But as you'll see once again, we don't even go and tap in that barrier. And even, no, we do go and tap in the barrier, I believe. But we're seeing passive sellers pop in here again at 6327, which isn't providing me the best confirmation that buyers will be able to continue upwards. And we do see this area get removed from the market, but we still have this area holding. So we're simply just waiting to see how we play out. We're between two barriers once again, within a very close range. If this range was farther out, we definitely could have taken something of this nature, especially because of the fact at this six because at this 6322 area, we did happen to see seller absorption. You can clearly see these sellers try to get in with a decent extent of volume, but these sellers were unable to push through that area, and then we are starting to see reaction off of such. You can see that within this candle, right? You're seeing these sellers come in, but they're not strong enough to actually break through the barrier, and now we've absorbed it, but there's still passive participants around that relative area for our stop to still be placed around. But by this time, we're already almost at 6327. There's no real sense of proper range in terms of a risk management standpoint for us to actually take the trade. And in such a choppy day already, is it really worth taking something within such a small range without as much confidence as typical? Especially right at the end of our market session as well. Is it really worth it? Hell no. So we did not take it. Those longs did happen to come through, but once again we started stalling again here at this level, that 6327.5 level. We do eventually push up to the 6330 area around 1035, but by that time we're already off the charts. There's nothing we could have done to predict it. I'm just gonna continue to test these next few minutes in case there was any setup that we could have placed, but I'm not particularly thinking of anything of that nature. And as you see, there was no setup. But yeah, I mean, we've simply analyzed the entire market session from 8:30 to 10:40 now, I believe, right? Yeah, almost 10:40, 10:35 candle. If you analyze this entire session range, couldn't find a single setup that works within our system's rules and overall confidence. And we always want to take the trades that we're confident and comfortable in taking. Today, we simply did not see any of that, and that's why we are completely flat here for today. But yeah, that's just my market analysis for today. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment down below or join the Discord server. The link is in the description down below, and there are many resources I highly believe you can take advantage of. All for completely free as well. Additionally, if you want to take advantage and start adapting and integrating order flow into your strategy starting today, all for completely free, take a look at Addis and Bookmap livestream. The links are in the description down below. Addis is an official channel partner, and it's honestly one of the best order flow tools that I've used. Very easy to customize, easy to use, very user friendly. And you can, I think you have live data for crypto and maybe a 15-minute delay for futures. So not too bad. You get all of that for completely free, and then you can decide for live data. But that 15-minute delay with a lot of the functionalities is very useful, especially when integrating your strategy with order flow, and definitely useful to start adapting. So I highly recommend it, but as always, do your own research. But other than that, I don't have anything else here for today. I'll leave it by saying I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for the pre-market live session for the last day of the week, Friday. So I guess I'll see you guys then. Goodbye.